Greetings, my audience. Welcome to my channel. My name's Jake Allen Graham, and that's the name of my channel. And share, you see, please like my video and subscribe to my content to support my channel. Anyway, as I go further into the review video, I'm reviewing Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire starting from 2002 to 2007. And I'm even going to talk about the Spider-Man 2.1 cut and Spider-Man 3 Editor's Cut. Now, I just want to talk about the Editor's Cut for Spider-Man 3 to get it out of the way. The Editor's Cut does change some story beats here and there, but it's relatively the same movie. But, if you're like me, you've seen Spider-Man 3 many, many times, and you think it's the best Spider-Man movie in the trilogy, get it wrong, but if you've seen the movie so many times, you're able to spot the difference, details night and day. If you've seen the movie so many times for Spider-Man 3 and like it a lot, enough to give it like a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 for yourself, is what I rate Spider-Man 3 as. One of those scores I'm going to decide for the editor's cut. I give Spider-Man 3 the editor's cut. For the editor's cut, not as good as the theatrical cut, but better than what I was expecting, considering it's a shorter movie. But I'd rather see the director's cut that's longer and a different story all around and tells has different scenes in it. Overall different than what I saw in the theatrical cut, that expands the movie, not like edits the movie down. But this movie just edits the movie down for what the editor of Spider-Man 3 wanted to be more like. So this is the editor's cut of Spider-Man 3, so it's a shorter movie than theatrical, okay? You're not missing much if you don't want to see Spider-Man 3 editor's cut. There's not a whole lot of difference unless you've seen the movie multiple times. Then you might notice the difference. But other than that, you wouldn't notice the difference that much. And, or if you have really good memory like me, then and you're just fortunate enough to remember the entire movies in your movie library that you remember seeing from physical media or streaming wise. You're just prone to doing that to yourself, remembering all the movies that you've seen, for better or for worse. And your memories just like attract movies like magnets with absorbing movie images in terms of remembering them, you know? At least that's how mine works with my mind for movies. And, yeah, it's right now, okay? And so, Spider-Man 3 editor's cut, I give us, I guess I give us, what I gave it, I forget, I'll give it the points whatever I give Spider-Man 3's theatrical cut after this, and that's the one I want to talk about at the end of this video. Now I'm going to talk about Spider-Man 2.1, the director's cut of Spider-Man 2. There are a few silly differences with the director's cut of Spider-Man 2.1, known as the director's cut of Spider-Man 2. And there are like differences that kind of improve the movie, but also differences that kind of destroy the movie more, rather than harm the movie. Rather than improve the movie, feels like it kind of harms the movie, compared to how it was, like, certain scenes were edited out in the theatrical cut versus the 2.1 cut of Spider-Man 2, director's cut, known as. And you can find it on DVD, only on physical media still. Last time I checked, I don't think you can find it streaming. I can't remember. I know you can find the first cut of the movie, the theatrical cut that's more well known, streaming, but not the 2.1 cuts. You have to buy it I guess like you can get it now on Blu-ray, but I have it or on DVD. I was more aware of the DVD. I remember, but yeah. I don't remember if you can stream. I don't know if I didn't. I don't remember checking to see if you can stream the movie now on media for Spider-Man 2.1. You had to find it on streaming service. I don't know what stream service right now is available for, if it is available for any streaming services. Um, don't know at this time. So um, I give Spider-Man 2 the same score I'm giving Spider-Man 2.1 Director's Cut. A 2 out of 10. This movie, I feel like Spider-Man 2 kind of takes a left turn into stalker territory with Peter and trying to get the moves on Mary Jane and get her and pick up where they left off after Spider-Man gives up being Spider-Man because his powers aren't working consistently. So he goes to go with get the girl. Now that she's in between of have a deadline of when he can of when to get married to this other guy called Jameson Jr. And who's Jameson's son from the Daily Bugle, Peter's boss, his intern job. His intern job in the Raimi movie is not necessarily a full-time job yet. He never gets that opportunity to take a full-time job at Daily Bugle like he does in the 616 and Ultimate Comics and other incarnations like some known as Spectacular Spider-Man from the animated series and Spectacular Spider-Man. He called job at Daily Bugle, but Peter never makes it past the intern phase of his career, not even during Spider-Man 3, when him and MJ are the most toxic, constant couple and brought to the big screen for the worst. Yes, instead of when the problem now, the downside of Spider-Man 3 having MJ and Peter together after the events of Spider-Man 2. Spoiler, in Spider-Man 2, she chooses Peter over Jameson Jr. and leaves her own wedding in her wedding dress. And leaves a big, kind note, breakup note to Jameson that he gets on his wedding day. Realize she wants to be with Peter. That heartless bitch, I feel bad for Jameson Jr. But Kristen Dunst, MJ's sister, like a bold cunt. And she's always going to be a bitch and a slut. That's how she's reading the Ravenverse. A little different than 616 Mary Jane or Ultimate Mary Jane or any other Mary Janes that are not sluts. Because they don't go on a guy when they're in a relationship. And in the 2.1 cut, it gets weirder because she fantasizes about being with Peter, who she knows and finds out in Spider-Man 2, both cuts of the Spider-Man 2 cuts, that Peter and Spider-Man are the same person. Mm-hmm. And it gets weird because she does the same kiss on that she did on Peter's first Spider-Man when he was in the Spider-Man costume, the upside down kiss while kissing her new fiance upside down when she's about to get married him. And she just doesn't feel the same love, mojo love she felt with Peter with the upside down kiss from the events of Spider-Man 2002, the first one. Was in the events of Spider-Man 2. I'm not sure which Spider-Man movie or Spider-Man 2 is better or worse. But I really think, maybe Spider-Man 2.1 is better than Spider-Man 2 theatrical cut. Because it adds more substance to the story for better and for worse. Of the story that improves and ruins the story more. For a cinematic viewing of Spider-Man 2 2004, released back in, when it goes up against Doc Ock was this time. But instead of Peter killing the villain was dodging attack for his spider sense, and his villain kills himself with a sacrifice, a hero death, by saving the world that was caused by his own doing of creating this machine. But because the Mechanicons not dominating him anymore with his own independent thinking, he's able to overcome the mechanical arms manipulation and get them to listen to him. He's able to do the right thing and redeem himself by committing suicide and saving the world, while Spider-Man gets the girl. Happy ending, I guess? I don't know. He goes for both this time. This is... Look, Spider-Man 2 is a mess of a movie. Well, I give it a 2 out of 10. The 2.1 cut and the 2 cut of Spider-Man 2, of Spider-Man 2 theatrical cut, originally released before the 2.1 cut came out on media, is why I give a Spider-Man 2 a 2 out of 10. I can only say the CGI and the effects were nice, completely made foliage this time around. Can't say the effects that were perfectly polished or decent for the first Spider-Man movie. The effects were decent this time around, at least for the sequel, and for Spider-Man 2. Not so much for the first Spider-Man movie of 2002. Now, I want to talk about that. This movie's CGI effects sticks out bad like a sore thumb. All the practical effects, CGI effects, just don't blend well together. It's like, you can make out the practical effects and CGI effects easily night and day, and they just don't look unfinished compared to the practical effects, probably because they're actually there, the CGI effects, What's in the events of Spider-Man 2 for the final product? I mean, Spider-Man 1 for the final product, the first Spider-Man from 2002. This time, that's when he faces Green Goblin, and Green Goblin gets killed by his own life because Spider-Man has spider sense. He doesn't. So he dodges it, leaving the Green Goblin to impale himself and come to his wounds and dies, collapse. I think I want to give Spider-Man 2, 2002, of Spider-Man movie a 2 out of 10. I thought these movies' first installments to Maguire's era kind of stunk. A lot. Like, I'm just saying, I have enjoyed the Metallica album, Saint Anger, from beginning to end, more times than I have enjoyed the Spider-Man movies, which Maguire did from 2002 to 2004, starring Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1. Metallica's eighth album named Saint Anger. I like that shit more than Spider-Man, right? So, but then again, I like Limp Bizkit's fourth album, results very more than these shitty movies. Piece of shit of movies. Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, that goes for. Spider-Man 3 is the exception. Is where I like is the one I liked. Out of the bunch of shitty Spider-Man trilogy, with the exception of the third one, is the only one I actually end up enjoying. I give Spider-Man 3 and the Spider-Man 3 Editor's Cut the same verdict score. A 8 out of 10. There's it's just like, Spider-Man 3 is not a perfect movie. For example, MJ and Peter suck when they're together in this movie. They're the most toxic, punchable couple that you just want to see ripped apart, and they eventually do get ripped apart in the movie early on, so that's when the movie gets better. And I enjoyed Peter's jazz breakdance when the Black Suit's taking over and making him evil. And I enjoy the scene of the redesign of the Black Suit, redesign of the Sandman's origin story, and the effects on the Sandman. I love the effects, the visual effects, the CGI, and the practical effects, how they come together, blend all nice together. And I enjoy the reimagining story of the symbiote story, taking with Peter and hopping onto Robbie. I mean, not Robbie, fuck. Got his name wrong. Eddie Brock. And the guy that played Eddie Brock did a good job for what the script he was given was. He was meant to play a more absurd, dorkier, goofy, loser version of Eddie. Which, in the comics, that's different than what Eddie is supposed to be. Because Eddie is supposed to be a bit of a jock, tragic hero. Yet, in the comics, Eddie Brock comes across like as a bit of a jock, tragic character that bonds with the symbiote and takes on the name Venom, and then he becomes a hero, and it's like really complicated storytelling in 616 Spider-Man universe. It's more linear and shorter within the Ultimate Cause, the symbiote story, than the 616 symbiote storyline was the symbiote. So, but I like this reimagining of the symbiote. I gotta say, the symbiote, I like how the symbiote looks alive, and it breathes, and actually how it flexes when it moves, like a hand flipping. It looks like a hand, like how it moves, but it looks like a slimy hand, like a creepy, crawly, creature of the night. It's brilliant reimagining on a static level. The symbiote. I just wish the story did more with the symbiote on execution wise. But it is, these movies weren't meant to get that creative with the source material, at least to standards. They weren't known to take in the source material in a good, positive direction, more in the shittiest direction. But this is the first time, I gotta say, they take the source 616 source material and what Nalzi had the Ultimate Comics, and took both ideas and created something new with the story of the symbiote on a stellar level. It makes it feel like a true true fun popcorn film with Spider-Man, starring played by Maguire again. This time, I actually ended up liking his performance as Spider-Man. I felt like this time he was given much more to do with his acting chops with the script. He guys get him I feel like in this one they gave him the best for the final product. I feel like in the final product for the third one they gave him the best. They got the best acting range takes for him for each scene, which I couldn't say the same for the first two ones. I thought the first two ones, his performance for his final, the scenes that they chose for the final product of the actual movie, Spider-Man 1 and 2, were the worst performances takes they gave out to the public for the final product. And because Maguire's performance was just flat and dull in the first two ones. I was a little taken back how his performance doesn't completely suck ass this time around, but it's actually legit good. Like up there was Andrews, I say, was his first outing or second outing as Spider-Man. I mean, that's how good I thought his performance was in this movie. Like, it's up there. I think it was as good as Andrew's Spider-Man was the first two Spider-Man movies. With Spider-Man 3 got out of Maguire. I wish he played the character more like this in the or use these takes like more that show more of his competent acting abilities than what the takes they use for the final product of Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1 with his performance falling flat in every shot for some reason. That's why I recommend Spider-Man 3 and don't recommend Spider-Man 1 or 2. Because I hate them. But I like Spider-Man 3 as an 8 out of 10. Anyway, that's my review on the trilogy with Spider-Man that was Tom Maguire's ever. Bye. Subscribe to my content. Goodbye. Next video I'll see you in. Whenever that'll be, I don't know. Looking for the off button. My throat's dry. I need to get a drink now. There's the off button.